So just to recap, this is an April Fool's Day mode run, also known as AFD mode. Uh, and let's show where we've been. So straight through materials, visited Zion, imprinted, uh, went to -6, had a dip into the waste where we got damper plating, went to the data miner, got his help, went to Zerov, saw that Zerov cannot give out nice extra special things in April Fool's mode, and also doesn't get most of his stockpiles. Uh, then went to -4. Oh, hey, Moore, how are you? Just in general. Uh, so we went to -4. I wanted to go to the wastes again to get more damper plating and refresh it because I noticed that we were using it very quickly. You'll see that this one was like well over 800 integrity when we started using it. Uh, Moore says, okay, but Sleepy, you, I am okay. I do not have too long to stream tonight, but I am hoping that we can finish the run or at least get substantially further. Uh, Uh, you'll notice we did not go to the wastes again in -4. We fled to the caves. And I want to talk a bit about the reason I did that. The reason I did that is because in AFD mode, you cannot lose your build, basically, outside materials, or you're stuck as a naked core. You'll notice, like, I have 7 free inventory slots. And so the thing is, it's sort of like a scavenger mode, in that uh, in order to get parts, you have to have a build that can kill bots. Uh, and beyond roughly materials, that means you have to be able to support EM launchers and fire them consistently. And in order to do that, you need uh, propulsion to hold them up because they get too heavy for core propulsion. You need power because they drain a fair amount of power in order uh, to run as part of the trade-off for using less matter. And you need storage to be able to hang on to enough backup parts till you find what you need and actually keep your build together. If you lose any one of those, you're done for in terms of actually having a build, and you're stuck dashing through as a naked core. And the reason I fled was that that the situation turned from, okay, I'm losing a couple of parts, but they're going to be replaced shortly, to a downward spiral. And I wanted to cut that spiral off as soon as possible. Because, like I said, if you lose the build, you're done for. You don't have the rebuilding safeties that you have in a normal run. So that's why we fled into the caves. We may be, so the primary reason I wanted the damper plating is to minimize corruption that I get from my own splash damage. We have quite a lot of it for now, but we will get that cleared at the Warlord gates. But yeah, that's important to know. Uh, we may actually venture into testing for in order to salvage from some special enemies that have a lower coverage EM resistance part. Damper plating is 90% EM resist, but it has huge coverage. And so it was taking most of the hits, which is why I was having such a problem keeping it. In particular, we'll examine the schematics we have. So robots, it's fairly standard data miner, nothing too interesting. Parts in here, we've got stuff from data miner, but we also have this, the advanced dynamic insulation system, which cuts the chance of system corruption from EM damage by 75%. Now, like, we can take a beating in terms of actual damage. We're using combat parts. But the corruption is a real mess because it makes you misfire, it hits your targeting, it does it affects your positioning and does all sorts of things that are really unhelpful. And obviously once you start misfiring, you're often misfiring like into walls and stuff near you, and you get more corruption. So I would like to not be doing that. So yeah, we are going to go through caves. Caves are relatively safe on this kind of build. But yeah, you see there's misfire right there. And it even damaged one of our launchers. Like, we can full explore them fairly safely, and we're probably going to because it also drops alert. The other reason I wanted to dip into shoot again was to pitch alert before going into research, where that becomes a lot harder. That's really interesting. So this P70 Sage hacks this bot assimilated. So this derelict decomposer is now appearing as a complex controlled serf because uh, uh, the programmer assimilated it, and but it's still like a neutral bot, so it's showing up as green. Yeah, it's hilarious. Like, it's still technically a decomposer class, but it's effectively a serf now. And it does tell us that the programmer is nearby, but it's also interesting that the programmer chose to hack it instead of just shooting it to death. So this one's been fairly consistent. I think there is actually a bot here. And actually, because there's a programmer nearby and we know that, I'm going to switch to my anti-programmer loadout now. This is an unknown device. Mass 1. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know where the programmer went. Ah, tractor beam. I do not really need this, but at the same time, I have the room, I might as well take it. Likewise, this wheel. Wheels are good backups in case everything goes horribly wrong, because of their low overweight penalty. That one of them is still enough to be pretty useful. We are seeing so many misdirects. Oh, there is the programmer. I want it to come around a corner for me. With launchers, you often want to fight at a distance, but not with programmers nearly so much. Okay, what do I want to swap out for the sensors? You know what, I'll put this tractor beam in just to protect it. Proved heatsink fried. Hey, I did actually refill my matter with the tractor beam. Okay, that kind of worked. Moore says sometimes programmers just do that. They hack in the same volley as their EM guns. Okay, I see. We'll put my sensors back on. The tractor beam was like kind of convenient here, in that it did save me having to specifically go pick up matter, and having to go pick up matter is very much a thing on launcher builds. Even with EM, you do wind up using a fair amount of matter, even without being like switching between builds for stuff like this. Okay, let's continue. A pack of viruses. This is one of the things where launcher builds are super fun, because with swarmers you want to use launchers anyway. Okay, we lost our heavy reflective plating. That's not good. Should have taken the sensors off. I'm still not like remembering to do that consistently. I am debating like putting the damper plating on at least one of them now that we actually have the 3 slots for it, because we can carry it too. It's not beyond our capabilities in terms of mass. Okay, we've gone fairly far. This is the point where I don't want to like backtrack too much in full exploring, so I tend to do it like this. I'll go a little bit forward and get a sense of what's in the area and that, and then I'll start going sideways and so forth. Now this is interesting because we weren't getting any signals earlier. I'm not sure if sensor arrays, when you're corrupted, like only show anything at all when there is a bot nearby, or at least one. And so they'd still tell you if there was nothing nearby. That's interesting. This one indicates that normally there is a grunt squad accompanying these, so the grunt squad may have already been blown up. Another swarmer pack. Let's get into position to fire on it. Yeah, I don't need there to be visible enemies. This will do. Oh, okay. Nice! At this point, I'm taking basically anything just to have it. You'll notice that a bunch of our legs are dying and so forth. I am actually kind of hoping to encounter some enemies that use legs so I can shoot them and take their legs, because we are running a bit low. And legs we already have are not in the greatest shape. Sometimes it looks like there's no passage, and there actually is a passage, and you have to check like every little bit of wall. Long-range missile launcher. Oh, there's probably that squad. But hey, free legs. Did they destroy my sensor array, or did I not have it on? Oh, it's down here. Yeah. There you go. Take that. Gala matter. Light antimatter reactor. Let's see. Now I'm starting to have enough parts to be making decisions again on what to have on, so that's nice. We'll put this back on. Do want to replace this one once it starts dying. Potentially even now. We can use the tractor beam as a swap, that's fine. So I'll leave that there. In this case, let's take this, then drop the nuclear core in favor of that. And let's see, what haven't we explored? Okay, we can just go north. Okay. Ooh, unknown. Okay, so we want to try that on, and then we'll grab the heavy shock bomb. This also looks like I have an opportunity here to terminal hack. I'll probably do that for long-range sensor array. True proton missile. Okay. This is rating 5. We'll however take it over the wheel because I don't think we need the wheel at this point. Record. Huh. We got traced over. We got detected over that. And it's all just these percent signs. Okay. Yes. Aw. Okay. You're not getting that. You're gonna get a bit more matter. Ah. Probably has a buddy. Yep. Ow. Also, swap. Well, that misfire was actually convenient because it fired right at actual enemies. Yes. Then sensor array. We'll drop a tread, take this with us. This one is going to die soon, but we may as well use it while we can use it. Energy discharge, that'll be made up pretty soon, that's okay. Overheating is also fairly nasty as a corruption effect because it can cause more unpleasant effects. Dirty bomb trap, okay. Come on. Yeah, see, I think that sensor arrays are only showing any corrupted signals at all when there's a bot in its range that you can't see. Because as soon as I step far away, we don't see any signal at all. That's interesting. And that you still know if there is a bot or not, just if there is, you don't know where. Okay, so the exit is probably fairly close by. In fact, it may just like flat out be here, because there's not much unexplored left in this cave, except like this bit, which we can just go back for. Yeah, see, this is some pack rats. They're fine. They're not dangerous at all. Probably is something over here, though. Just guessing. Like, this layout is pretty common as a sort of mini base. Yeah, pretty sure that's a mini base. Oh, a friendly mini base. Nice. Heavy shock bomb, heavy shock bomb. Nice, okay. So I will place a damage one. And I will pitch these treads for the other one. Or I could put on this and pitch the super damage leg, probably better. At least right now while we're not needing the extra support. If we find heavier armor and start needing it, then obviously we can change that. There's our exit. Might as well explore around, especially since we know where some friends are. And while we do that exploring around, we can pick up some matter refills. Hey! At least they didn't aggro on me for that. Where was the unexplored bits? There's one here. There's one here. Come on. Moira says, huh, I never noticed that. Yeah, I hadn't either until now. Oh, I've been here before. Okay. But yeah, because I'm usually not only not playing with high corruption, I have a signal interpreter usually. And signal interpreters of any tier completely block the corruption messing with signals effect. So you wouldn't see it. You only see it when for some reason you are walking around with sensors but no signal interpreter. And people who intend to use sensors generally don't do that for long. Okay, this is it. It'll go pick up some more matter on the way out. And let's get going. Now the Warlord attack isn't too much of a concern to us because we can take squads solo if we have to. But now that we're actually fully using our storage again, this is a concern. Now the turn back exit will be nearby. We are not taking it. We do want to go to Warlord. Or says, yeah, I run signal interpreters constantly too. Only run sensors without interpreter in build collapse style situations. Yeah, that's generally how it goes. That if you have sensors, you really want the interpreter, and so if you can build for it, you will. Or says, or if programmer / hunter critted my interpreters, the sad face situations. Yep. Yeah, I've had that happen. I've had traps break them off too. So I believe behind this is a hostile derelict. but I'm not sure. I kind of want to find out. Yes. Hostile derelict with a bunch of gear. But we have launchers. We also have this Viper blade. So let's see. Sensors off. Weakness to EM. Okay. Then launcher on. There you go. Unknown power core fried, two unknown devices fried, stasis canceller fried. Yeah, this happens. It is definitely a thing. What are these? Armored medium treads. Definitely better than carrying random improved treads around. Where it says, I think that is hostile derelict guy too. Yep, confirmed. This. Right, okay, heavy shock bomb launchers are better than these, so. You'll notice we have difficulty like filling utility slots on this. Especially if we're not willing to wear our armor. I may actually want to wear this both to protect me and at least especially while I'm in the storage situation and to like make use of it and get 3 slots back. At least like when actively fighting. Right, okay, so we know that we have to go one of those ways. Come on. Another thing with corruption is because you start getting misdirects and they stop your movement, it makes it harder to do like long moves. Oh hey, another like already broken into base. That's lucky. Same sort of thing. Okay, we know where the investigation squad is coming from. It's coming from there. If we're gone before they get here, they won't be able to do anything though. They'll just go back because it is an investigation. Then, yeah, I'm gonna wear the damper plating. Haha, that was fun. Wear this. Very dying heatsink. This one's in pretty good shape. Do that. Touch this. Take this one. This one is like a nicer leg, but it's also pretty heavily damaged, and we'd ideally like to stay underweight. Laura says, lol, that's some bad luck. Yeah, it is. Oh well. So we heard the doors opening and closing. I think that may actually have been the investigation. Because there aren't that many doors in the caves, but we know that there's one here. Oh, okay. Well, this may have to go on the ground. As much as that exposes it to splash damage. Fire it up. Nice. Yeah, it did expose it to splash damage. That's unfortunate. Maybe not do that. Now we're overweight. Okay. So I'm gonna stop doing this treads thing. Put some more legs on. It is fun not to be too scared of combat. You're gonna drop these too. There you go. I do think that like the sensors with corruption thing is interesting as sort of an informative balance that it's still like uh, you know whether or not something's there, in that you know whether or not your sensors are getting signals at all. The question is only like where the signals are when they're there. Okay. I was going back to like explore this bit that I realized I'd missed. But here. Ha! Shot one of his friends. Where it says, yeah, nice little touch on the sensors thing. Yeah, it is a really nice touch. I like it. It's this bit here that I wanted. Okay. Got that. Now we want to explore this way. So that sucked. So it pathed me through uh, through a tile that was at risk of a cave-in, just by autopathing. Or I don't think autopathing should do that. It doesn't make very much sense. And then I happened to get a cave-in, and on top of getting more system corruption, which was already a pain, it destroyed my sensor array. That sucked. Would be nice if autopathing didn't do that, or at least like didn't do that unless there was no other way through that area, and if so gave a warning. Because like sometimes, yes, people do that knowing that they're taking a cave-in risk, because like say they just dug out the area with a launcher or something. Yeah, but in my case there was definitely like a path through that didn't take that risk, and so there was no reason to take that risk. And it's one of those things where the risk can be is pretty known to the game, unlike stuff where autopathing takes the fastest path, uh, because as it's sort of default, because it doesn't know what trade-off the player wants to make between speed and safety. Or if like the player wants to specifically like avoid like giving line of sight to areas they don't know well as much as possible, or something like that. In this case, the risk was super known. FF burst, but no bots around. Okay, so we are almost through. I'll come back for this probably when one of these burns out or before we leave. Come on. We will see the rest of this though. Just as a full explore sort of deal. The full explore, it's nice. It's a thing you can rarely do in caves, because even most combat builds won't just take on everything, or at least aren't comfortable taking on everything. And it's neat. Uh, and it's fun to do. So there's the exit to Warlord. We know it's Warlord uh, by the pattern of the caves, pretty much. So let's see. Come on. Okay, yeah, that's full explore. Let's go get this and get ourselves a matter refill. Because we don't want to waste time in Warlord for sure. Because like the attack will probably come while we are still walking around. Oh. Okay. specifically trying to fire where I can hit them all. Come on. That's less than ideal. Okay. I can't hit this guy. He's right beside me and I can't hit him. There. Well, we're the core shielding because I may as well use the utility slot. Yeah, let's see. Okay. I'm gonna take back this one because I do think using the better launcher is valuable. I may actually take one of these flexi-carbon legs over the heavily damaged armor. Let's see. Yeah, we can do that. Apply some damage on the reactor, and let's go. Aww. Those are friends. Hello, Warlord. I really don't like having to deal with these guys, and I'm not going to take my launchers off. I don't like dealing with them because of this trait. They're going to give me a whole bunch of corruption before I reach the gates. I'm not going to take my launchers off around them, though I'll probably will take them off right as I approach the gates, just to make sure I don't disable the gates. Now I do need to find this exit as fast as possible. At least know where that is, even if I don't know the whole layout. There we go. Now we are uncorrupted. They give out a lot of corruption. Okay, we want to find Warlord. Not that he's gonna do much to help us, but we want to stash. And if we get a bit of lore along the way, all the better, like this. Interesting comment on the assembled. I am hoping to win this one as like winning a combat run, because then I'll feel comfortable enough that I can take on ZDC, and I gather I will learn something more about the assembled in so doing. Hello. I was talking about the live SIGIX. It is nice to get some lore out of this. We won't get much because as a combat bot we don't move that fast, and as soon as the attack starts, the bots stop talking. At least they stop talking for lore stuff. Destroying garrison access points is great for delaying programmer dispatch times, but combined with any other unwelcome local activity, the security level is likely to spike, increasing the potential for assaults. It's dangerous enough that we prefer to bring along a wizard and seal garrisons that way, using the less obtrusive approach. Then they don't realize they can't use certain access points until we're long gone. I already knew about the mechanics of this, but it's nice to collect the lore. This looks like the tunnel. Yeah, that's the tunnel. Okay, good to know, though it is south. Ooh, a launcher. Can't believe it. KV FPS left us to go make crazy powerful laser things down in Zion. Well, I've got news for them. Warlord will not be outdone. This prototype is bigger, better, sure to melt the bolts right out of them. It must be at least 50% ready for real action by now. Take it, and show the world we mean business here. Next time you drop by, I'll have you fill out a survey. Okay, so this is, I believe, the plasma storm. The upgraded version of the storm laser. This is one of the downsides to AFD, that you don't, that a lot of the nice branch stuff gets replaced by launchers. And so you don't get to pick them up for your gallery and stuff. And sometimes it can even be worth it to like come back to the seed to get, specifically to get the thing. Because like if it was playing a normal combat run right now, we could take 5 slots, or we could afford to carry the plasma storm around and then take 2 weapon slots at the next evolution and put it on, because this thing is really hard to get, but you can't do that here. Sometimes it's worth going back to the seed for these things. Moore says, the ZDC isn't too bad once you know how it goes and how to set up for it. It can do it pretty consistently if RNGesus doesn't decide to screw you over. Yeah, that is consistent with what I've heard. It's just I'm going to go in for the first time and discover things for myself once I'm confident that I can actually like learn from the experience. Even if I don't get through it, learn from the experience, and that does require a certain amount of combat competency, which is why I figured get a combat win first. And where it also says, oh, this is Plasma Storm. Yeah. So I have the lore, but I won't be able to actually put it on because I'm just getting a launcher instead. Now I will take this launcher. Yeah, we have enough launchers. Or says, yeah, I get you. I did the same thing. Think I got a combat win before I did ZDC. Yeah, from what I've heard, get a combat win first is a sort of a reasonable bar of you might not get through the first time, but you have the combat capability to learn from the experience well. Because it is a combat heavy area. And it is one of those like advanced options within a branch, and I think a similar way to DC, that the lower caves give you some like additional option to do something like dangerous but interesting beyond just taking the obvious reward. Where it also says, also check the name on the derelict that the Tinkerer mentioned. Sure. KB-FPS. That is a funny name. I'm pretty sure, just out of consistency, that if you like go to Zion and you see the derelict with the storm laser, that will be the name. So this is Warlord. That's good. You can tell by the triple door. Yes, Warlord is telling me... Oh, that's 8 FPS's little tidbit in the game where it says, see? It's K8 instead of KB. Okay, yes, it makes a lot of sense. Warlord is saying that something is spooky with the imprinter. Yeah, I know something is spooky with the imprinter. This is part of the reason I want to be comfortable getting to ZDC and finding out what. So we're going to open this using the data miner code. No cryofiber web this time. So last time I did this, the cryofiber web still turned up. And this time you'll see a lot of the stuff that like you would get stuff back here and so forth, it's not there. Like nothing at all is there, it hasn't even been replaced. Prototypes? No, these aren't prototypes, these are all unknowns. They're not flashing, see? Also, hello Bug Sniper. So yeah, this one's a heavy shock bomb, which we know. I believe these are all the same, because they're all the same mass. Yeah, they're all the same. So I'm just going to try one on as ID. Yep, all long-range missile launcher. I'm going to take this. Hello, Shadow Express. I haven't seen you around the chat before. How familiar are you with Cogmind? Okay. Attack on incoming. Won't get any more lore. Can still look around fairly quickly for any part stashes we might want, or any little locations that tell me interesting things. I'm going to do this quickly because we are moving relatively slow, so explore efficiently. Shadow Whisper says, well, one stream of one YouTuber. Okay, so have you played yourself, or have you just watched the stream? Ooh, this is lore. Tell Armory Trap Records, okay. Research emergency access, that's nice. Just watched, okay. So, just so you know, this is a spoiler zone, and that I am fairly far through this run, and also we're in a side area. So, it's up to you. If you do want to get into the game, we can offer you advice here, and there's also a roguelikes Discord server where we have a bunch of channels for Cogmind, and the public one is totally spoiler free, so new players can get advice and still discover stuff for themselves. It's totally up to you how much you want to see spoilers, if at all. Quarantine entrances, that's nice. Armory zone layouts. Armory zone layouts. Testing zone layouts. Ooh, that's nice, because we may go into testing. Research garrisons, good to know. Bug Sniper posted the Discord link. Thanks, Bug Sniper. One programmer, 2 hunters, 1 demolisher. Okay. The demolisher squad is concerning. We may have to fight our own way out because they're sending demolishers so early, but we can do that if we have to. Ooh, what's this? I don't normally see that outside here. Oh, this is Vortex Lab. Shadow Whisper says, now just watching, I won't be playing because this Cataclysm Dark Days ahead. That's cool, no problem. If you ever do want to get into Cogmind, the same offer stands. Here we go. And all launchers instead of vortex weapons. So you're gonna drop this, take this off, get a fresh launcher. Like Cypher says, yeah, this is a special game mode in which all items are replaced by launchers. Yeah, that's important to note. for any viewers who aren't familiar with this, this is AFD mode, April Fool's Day. All items on the ground are replaced by launchers. And so it's a lot of fun if you want to play with launchers, but it's more like a challenge mode. It's not a standard game by any means. Also, another Demolisher squad is coming. That's not great. There's a very good chance that I am going to have to fight my way out. But the thing with AFD launcher builds is that you can. Ooh, a bunch of allies. I'm gonna take these. Might as well. Especially if I'm gonna fight my way out. Had a launcher underneath it, huh? Two grunt squads, two behemoth squads. That's not so bad. Like, the behemoths are high damage, but they're relatively easy to hit. And they'll get ganged up on pretty hard. As long as there's still warlord bots to do the ganging up on. Ah, counterattack? Okay. Yeah, this is probably time to go. Better to go with the counterattack. I don't need to super go around. There's a tunnel. Moore says counterattack is going to get decimated. This is not good. Yeah, the counterattack is definitely going to have a really rough time of it. But the thing is, if we need to, I can get out. Like, by myself, I am packing enough power. Moore says, demos probably took out most initial guards. Yes, you are correct. The demos almost certainly did. We are going to go around this way, just because of the programmers. That the programmers are annoying. Aww. The programmers, however, are also distracted by my allies. Ooh. Okay. Not in range. Get in range. Moore says, oh, southeast, this is actually good. Yeah, normally a south tunnel location is bad, but here it's working out. Oh, right, because we lost a reactor. Hang on. We actually want to put the damper plating on because we're going to take splash. Yeah, let's do it. So the programmers are resetting these, so we have to actually, I think, damage them to death rather than corrupt them. That might be a problem. Ooh, critted off the damper plating. I may have to EX these guys. I think I do. Moore says, yeah, you're going to have to damage them to death. Yeah, I think what I might need to do is EX the programmers to death, and then I can corrupt as normal. I think that might be the better way to do it. What do you think? Or says, yeah, I just use neutron launcher on programmers and hit behemoths with the EM. Yeah, makes sense. Ooh, nice. I've never fired one of these before. The no fall off is really cool. Sweet effect. Moore says neutron missile launchers have awesome effects. Yeah, they do. Come on, hit the programmers. There we go. Programmers down. Now, see this. Okay, I'm losing a lot of coverage here. That's not good. Moore says, should stop here to try and put on more legs in combat, taking too much core hits here. Yeah, definitely agree. Also, it's risking my storage. Also, core shielding would be useful. Yeah, that's a point. I think this is good. I do want to keep 2 legs to walk out on just in case things go really bad. Ooh, this one is trying to path around? Okay. See, the matter alert is okay because I have matter storage. Hey, the sentry survived and is still mine. That's nice. Ooh, we lost both reactors. Okay. That kind of sucks. We do have an energy well. I'm gonna back up a bit. Wow, this guy might kill it. Core shielding down. Okay. I think I gotta put this on. Oh crap. Time to run? Insufficient energy to put on more legs. Okay. Moore says, uh-oh, you need to throw on all legs now and just bail on core. Like, bail on core as in take off the storage and hover out, you mean, right? I think that is what you mean. You can die here. Yeah, I agree. And honestly, that is probably the end of the run. Where it says, that's the only option here, yeah. Yeah, okay. I do agree with you. I need to get the energy to put them on, though. Bug Sniper says, drop the things you want to keep first, perhaps. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Then I can go naked without as much issues, and I won't have to spend super long on all this. Because dropping parts takes no energy, and right now I have an energy problem. Okay. Shift, Alt, P. Will detach all parts. Repeat to confirm. Yes. Okay. Attach. I was thinking you'd want to keep a melee weapon, but okay. I don't think I had time for that. I'm honestly not even sure I have time to go attach the second leg. Let's just get going. Core alert. Okay. Yeah, this is less than fun. There's the other behemoth. So I'm gonna get out of this. I don't know if I'm gonna get out of proxy caves. And even if I do, nope. Or says rip, rip indeed. Bug Cypher says nice try, yeah. Or says, yeah, I used to have the same problem with W. Like, this was definitely something that, like, would have been doable on a faster build. It's just, especially, you know, I thought that we could take on a whole set of main C squads if we had to. And maybe we could have. But normally, like, you have the counterattack to help you. Rather than having, like, all the guards be totally smashed by 2 sets of Demolisher squads in a row. And then having a second set of main C squads coming out as the first one, as I was still dealing with the first one, was also a problem. Moore says, need to be defending the entrance as combat, especially if demolishers come. So you're saying just, like, find what you need in Warlord super fast, go to the entrance before the incursion starts, and, like, help defend it the whole time? At least until the counterattack starts and then you leave? Or it says, or as the incursion starts. Okay. Okay, yeah, theoretically I could have done that, in that we got the incursion starting notice right after I left the Warlord's area itself to, like, show the stash. Moore says, I think counterattack starts earlier if you defend as well, and it's much safer. That is good to know for future visiting Warlord as combat. Normally I visit either as AFD mode, and the last time I did this on AFD it wasn't a problem and I got out. Because I was the one packing the launchers and not main C squads. Or I come as flight and I get out pretty quick. Yeah, Moore says hover and flight can both disregard this. Yeah, because hover and flight are not nearly as sturdy, especially not at that point. And Moore says, but anything slower needs to defend, in my opinion. Yeah, I can definitely see why, especially if defending makes the counterattack earlier and safer. Where it says, also defending gets you nice weapons. Heavy ACs are delicious. Okay, good to know. Definitely something to keep in mind when I come back to Warlord as combat. I don't know if I'm going to do that super soon, but I I am definitely going to do that at some point because I do want to learn to play like not just stealth but also combat builds. Anyway, so this says score upload failed. It's not actually upload failed. It's that AFD is a non-uploading mode. This is not a bad score. It is higher than the scores I normally get with flight runs. But it's not like as good as my last AFD run that made it all the way to access. Bug Sniper says, "Bsen, have you played hover combat before?" No. To be honest, I'm not necessarily super sure what to do with hovers yet. Because I know you have to use like not the basic ones and stuff to get good stuff, just how you have to like how you have to use not the basic plane rating one flight unit, but Morris says, hover combat has more strategic layers than flight IMO, but if you, in my opinion, but you can set it up with flight and it's faster, so I think it would be more comfy to start with for flight players. Bug Sniper says that's where you're flexible. If you find good flight, take them, or if you find good heavy parts and good legs, take them. That is interesting. It's definitely something I might try in future, and honestly, I probably do want to try it because I do want to really fully explore the game. Moore says, Ugg said more strategic layers than flight when I meant more strategic layers than normal combat. Okay, yeah, good to know. But yeah, at some point I probably will try AFD mode again because it is something that would be really cool to actually win. But probably not this beta. And probably what I'm actually going to do is work on the remaining runs that I really want to do on beta 6 before I move on to beta 7. In particular, I want to do an old school robot hacking run with the magic wand and everything, which I want to do it on the older system to have like a frame of reference for beta 7's new robot hacking and stuff. And that's probably the run I'm going to start right after this, because with AFD, in order to get the game out of that mode, you have to actually start a new run. You can't actually swap in an existing one. And the other run that I want to finish on beta 6 is the Archives event run that I was previously doing as dual commentary with Pimski, that we had swapped out to do other things when schedule clashes happened and we couldn't get a time going and stuff. But I want to swap it back in and finish it. But you can't do swap-ins to get out of AFD mode. If you do, it will look fine until you change maps, and then the next map will be generated AFD style with all launchers instead of the items you should be getting on the floor. And it will not be fun. And so I'm going to swap that one in after probably, because I do like to finish runs. Bug Sniper says, you didn't get too far in that run anyway, so maybe start over and do materials quickly in 30 minutes. So here's the thing, Bug Sniper. I'm not that fast a player. Even if I am not dual commentary streaming, and yes, dual commentary streaming does make me a lot slower, at least how we were doing it at the time, because I spent most of my time responding to Pimsky or responding to chat and barely moving. I don't do materials in 30 minutes. It tends to take me about an hour, at least, even if I don't do any mines, just because I do tend to take about 20 minutes per map. Hey, little dog, you came pretty close to the end because I died, but we're discussing like plans for future runs and stuff, so you are still totally welcome to hang out. Also, the thing with the archives event run is that you need a seed that actually has the archives event, and I don't know if whether or not you have that changes from one beta to the next. And I wouldn't really want to like start over on the same seed, so I'd have to find like another one. And I don't know if the ones that were collected for beta 6 are valid. They're like more likely to be valid than like regular map placements and stuff, because branch stuff and branch events like the archives event, or at least like the branch events that give you stuff in terms of like loot on the ground and a bot says to take it, are more likely to stick, but still. Moore says, I got one as an archives event seed during pre-release. Don't know if it's still valid now. Bug Sniper says, I guess someone could write a program to search the high scores for an archives event run and copy in that seed. I'm not sure if you can actually tell whether the archives event is on a seed by the score sheet. I mean, like, you can tell if the person went to archives, but I don't know if you can tell that directly, unless you're looking at seeing they went to Zero's lab and didn't go to archives, but they didn't meet Zero. That would be one way to do it, because there is like an NPCs map thing. Little Knox says, I got to riff on my last run. That's great. A lot of people are having trouble getting to riff, so it's great that you got through and did it. But yeah, in any case, I'm definitely doing like old style robot hacker magic wand first. In fact, since I figured we were probably going to finish this run tonight, I deliberately already entered in a, a robot hacker setup seed. Specifically, it's a seed I was asking about in the spoiler chat earlier. Specifically looking for a seed that lets you get a particularly easy way to the magic wand location, or at least a magic wand location. And so I had that in because that's definitely the next run I'm starting. And then hopefully finish that relatively soon. Because the sooner I do that, the sooner I can move on to Beta 7, whether or not I do Archives event still in Beta 6 or not. I would kind of like to do it in Beta 6 just because I do like to finish runs. I don't like to sort of stop one without seeing it through to a conclusion, because I find that I learn more about the results of my build choices and working with them when I am making sure that I always finish my runs. But yeah, any runs, definitely Magic Wand will be streamed. If I do Archives event on Beta 6, it will definitely be streamed. It would probably also be streamed if I do it on Beta 7, because these are interesting things to do, but also if you're doing any runs on a past beta, they don't get uploaded to the scoreboards. Like, the score upload may succeed, but it doesn't get put in the score stats anywhere, just because only ever collects them for the current beta. So any runs that I do on a past beta, especially for stuff like this, would be streamed also as a record beyond the score sheet. Because the score sheet is only going to wind up being around, like, for me. It's not going to be like shown publicly unless people ask for it. But yeah, definitely next up is Old School Robot Hacker, which should be fun. Flight hacking magic wand. will also be interesting to compare, like, because old school robot hacking fairly integrated with machine hacking, uh, versus the new system where robot hacking and machine hacking use very much different parts, and so they compete very heavily on slots, and it's hard to be good at both. Especially because the real signature key parts for both of them are processors, so you can't swap. But yeah, that's Run Plans. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you around.